Something from a world beyond has come to Sunnydale.
Something evil crashed to Earth.
This is definitely new territory.
And it's taking refuge in Buffy's house.
I'm gonna close my eyes. You're going to go away.
All new Buffy.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to this week's edition of Slade, the Buffyverse Revisited. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Jeremy.
Oh, I'm your other host, James.
And this week, we will be committing James to a mental institution to see if anyone could fix him. I don't think that it's possible, but we're going to give it a whirl.
There's nothing with me that needs to be fixed. I'm not broken.
Okay, you just keep telling yourself that. And then this week, we will be jumping into Season 5, Episode 9, Listening to Farts. Listening to Fear.
Wow, listening to farts. That's...
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know where that came from.
Ooh, that was a wet one.
I was going to say, you better go check your drawers on that one.
Yes. Listening to Fear this week. A improvement from last week's.
The episode is actually
show.
Listening to Fear this week.
Yes, Listening to Fear. Just this week, though. Not next week.
No.
And not the previous week. In my opinion, a marked improvement to last week's shit show of an episode. But I guess we'll see what you think. and definitely better than next week's absolute shit drizzle of an episode.
We're going to have an interesting couple of recordings here. So anyway, James, it's been ages. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm all right. How about yourself? What's new? What's exciting? How you feeling?
Well, it's been so long. I've actually had a couple of kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. One of them's in college. The other one's in jail. So,
Yeah. Okay.
One out of two ain't bad.
No, that's why most people have multiple kids, because inevitably one's going to be just a dud. So
you got to play the odds, one or more could end up being just complete fucking drizzling shits, and then
right.
You want to have your money on another one that could actually do something for you in your retirement.
Exactly. So, yeah. All right then.
But how have you been?
I can't complain. Fine.
Okay. Well, I think we're both fine. So
we are both fine. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, it's been quiet.
Nope.
The sun was a goddamn liar here today. It looked beautiful out, but it just wasn't.
Colder than a witch's titty?
Well, no, it was like 50 degrees, but that's not good enough for me.
No, it was in the 30s here today. It was colder than a well digger's ass. So
was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It got up to 50 today, and that's not I'm not happy. I say 75 plus, but I'll take 65.
Oh yeah, all day.
But the warmer it is, the happier I am. So.
Could you quit scratching your scabies while we're talking?
No, you're constantly scratching your back all the time over there.
That is such a lie.
Bullshit. You've got your back scratcher right there next to your setup. Right.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm just insane.
What you're even talking about?
I will not stand for this gaslighting right now, Jeremy. Okay, I will not stand for it. We're better than that on this show.
Are we though? The truth.
Not when it comes to the show. Like in real life, we're better than that. But when it comes to the show,
in real life, there's a whole lot of difference between real life and this show. So,
what we're doing here.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, why don't you listen to some Fear Us up some dates and deets.
I don't know what that means, but how about if I tell you? How about if I give you some information about the episode?
There you go. Okay, that'll work.
Yes, as previously stated, we will be. I don't remember what you said. Are we diving in, running into, like masturbating on top of? What are we doing?
I think I said we're necrophiliing.
We're fucking the dead corpse of our 9th episode of the 5th season of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the 87th episode overall.
That's
Listening to Fear. Written by Rebecca Rand Kirshner and directed by David Solomon. Our original air date was November 28th, 2000 on the now defunct WB network. Our cast, as always, includes Sarah Michelle Gellar as Buffy, Nicholas Brendan as Xander, Allison Hannigan as Willow, Mark Blucas as Put That Sign Down, Emma Caulfield as Anya, Michelle Trachtenberg as Dawn, James Marsters as Spike, Anthony Stewart Head as Giles. Our guest stars this week include Charlie Weber as Ben, Nick Chinland as Major Ellis, Kevin Weissman as Dreg, Randy Thompson as Dr. Kriegel, Amber Benson as Tara, Christine Sutherland as Joyce.
And James Mayberry as masturbating man in the corner.
And James Mayberry making his return to Buffy the Vampire Slayer as masturbating man in corner. And Bailey Chase as Graham, who for some reason goes uncredited in this episode.
I think they realized that he was just a waste of human flesh, really.
Wow, that's harsh. So we open with the Summers ladies there at Sunnydale Memorial, and
gonna not do our
oh shit, our Nielsen ratings. That's right. I'm sorry.
How'd you do this? This is like 3 weeks in a row, bro.
Which episode was this? Oh yeah, Listening to Fear.
Wow.
A 3.6 this week in the Nielsen ratings, ranking it, oh my god, 94 out of the 138 primetime shows airing across network television this week, and number 3 out of the 17 primetime shows airing on the WB that week. Wow, 93.
Wow.
For a first run episode, or 94, sorry, for a first run episode too. Wow.
Well, nobody can compete with those Gilmore Girls, let me tell you.
That's true. That's true. My synopsis this week reads, a gruesome demon from outer space creeps into the Summers home and targets Buffy's mother as she prepares to undergo brain surgery.
Oh my. Mine reads as Joyce's sickness makes her begin doing odd things, such as public anal. A demon emerges from a meteorite and begins killing the mentally retarded.
We can't say that.
That's what it says.
Is it really?
That's why I wanted to say yes. That's why I didn't change it. I shit you not.
What the fuck? That's the IMDb?
Well, first of all, it's a double negative. Right? Wouldn't it be? Mentally retarded? Wouldn't that be? Because couldn't you just say the R word, and I mean, you wouldn't need the mentally part.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Anyway, yeah. There you go.
Wow. Yeah. In the year of our Lord 2025?
Yeah. Well, who knows when that was actually written, though?
That's true.
It was probably
we
written.
We should go in and change it.
There were people on there who had commented on that. But of course, I got this like 6 months ago, so
can't anybody go in and update IMDb?
I don't know.
I don't know. I thought you could, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not open source like that.
Maybe you're thinking Wikipedia.
Well, I know definitely Wikipedia you can, because I go into as many Wikipedia articles as I can, and I just randomly insert James Paul Mayberry has enormous penis.
Well, I've literally gone in to various things of people that I despise, and I have put that I've changed their date of death to that day and said that they died of AIDS.
Wow.
Like I have.
Wow.
Or just some kind of horrific died in a fire or whatever.
Right. Yeah, no, I just like to go into random Wikipedia pages and put in that I have a big penis.
Oh, okay.
So you could be reading about Chernobyl, and then all of a sudden it's like, also, James Paul Mayberry has a rather large penis.
Okay.
So, you know.
All right.
Just putting it out there.
Okay.
So, once again, we open with the Summers women at Sunnydale Memorial, HIPAA violation Memorial Hospital.
Yeah, no shit.
With Dr. Kriegel, and he's letting them know that Mama Summers is going to have surgery in 2 days for her brain cancer, as you may remember.
Life-threatening brain tumor. We'll get you in a couple days.
Right, because as you may remember from our previous episode, we found out that she has the brain cancer.
AIDS.
So she's got brain AIDS.
There you go. Brain AIDS. Told you.
She's got brain AIDS. You were right. Damn. I hate when you're right. So yeah, she's gonna have surgery for the tumor on her squiggly human brain in 2 days. She is protesting, says she doesn't think she can stand being there another 2 days. And of course,
the doctor's
Buffy,
like, we can't stand for you to be here another 2 days.
Right. He's like, half of our staff has paid to sleep with you in the past, and
you give most of them fucking scabies.
Right, and it's causing some heavy awkwardness here on the neurosurgery floor. So,
In fact, if you recall, have been with you several times.
Right. I have been inside all of your holes, including your left nostril. And
Alrighty.
Buffy and Dawn are all like, no, it'll be fine, yada yada, blah blah. You'll be fine. We'll stay here and we'll read magazines and I don't know,
annoy you,
whatever, annoy you. Yeah. Joyce is worried about Buffy having to patrol, and Buffy's like, pshaw, don't worry about that, mommy. The gang's on it. At which point we cut to the rest of the Scooby Gang ham-fistedly patrolling, and you know what? To her credit, Willow stakes both the vampires,
whilst everyone else is a liability.
Right, including Daddy Giles.
Yes, even Giles is nothing. Let's not forget the fact that they're fighting chicks.
No, one chick. The other, it's a dude vampire and a chick vampire.
I'm pretty sure they were both chicks.
Nope, I think you're wrong.
In fact, I'm willing to bet anything you would like to bring up that they were both females.
Oh shit! You're right. I was wrong.
Yeah, I know.
I was wrong. You know what? I can't do this anymore. You're better than me. I don't know. I'm sorry. Bye, folks.
He is beneath me, ladies and gentlemen. Let that be known that he is, in fact, so far. I think he just farted after he quit the show.
That's a goddamn lie. You take those lies out of your mouth.
I just wanted to say, you're beneath me. double barrel shotgun.
My headphone disconnected. I was only hearing you through one ear.
Oh, well, that's all you really need. It is
Well,
kind of like
I
hearing,
mean,
it's kind of like hearing the word of God.
honestly, I could do without hearing you at all. That'd be fine. But
Wow. 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 Double wow.
just as oh, Jeremy just quit, everyone. Jeremy just quit. I insulted him. You know, just last week he said that I was starting to get the hang of it. I was starting to be more like him, and he liked to see it. But then as soon as I got too much like him, he was just done with it. He was just done with it.
Okay.
The get what?
We both quit in the same episode.
We did both. What if we quit at the same time and it was just an hour and 45 minutes of people staring at our Skype screen? Yeah, just dead air. So they're ham-fistedly trying to handle these two female vampires, as was pointed out to me.
Beaten Daddy Robux's ass.
Yeah, they manhandled Giles like he's never held a weapon before in his fucking life. And like, did the writers just forget about like the last 4 years of the show?
They forget that he's Ripper, and that they, being Willow and Xander, have been on countless patrols.
Right.
But yeah. Here we are in season 1.
But ultimately, Willow does manage to stake both of the vampires. And in the meantime, we cut to Riley, who is in this dingy, rundown crack house, and he's letting a female vampire feed on him.
He's in a crack shack, and she's feeding from the vein in his penis.
She is feeding from the vein of his throbbing member.
By the way,
and that's our cold open.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, sorry, that was our cold open.
Yes. Go ahead.
So I've got some new headcanon I'd like to share with you.
Nah, that's all right. So then we cut to. No, what's your new headcanon?
My new headcanon is you're an asshole. No,
oh, that's not headcanon. That's facts.
That's real life. So I don't know why I have never thought of this before, and it's never entered my mind. But for some reason, this scene where Willow kills, because she kills both female vampires like from behind. Mm-hmm. You know, she sneaks up behind them, and I was like, "Wow, I've never put it together how easy it is to jam dull wood through people's chests, backs, what have you." So in my headcanon, I have decided that vampires in the Buffyverse
have no rib cages or
are just super susceptible in that area in the front or back. Like they only have 2 millimeter thick, wet skin. That it's very simple to get through. Like as soon as wood touches the flesh in that area, front or back, it just takes it in like a whore for cock.
Wow. Okay, yeah. I mean, you know what? Like you're being somewhat facetious with it, but
but I'm being serious at the same time. Like
right, but realistically, so let's look at it from a standpoint of like, let's say vampires are like a, evolutionary, like the next level up for predator type. You know what I'm saying? Like, then it would make sense that there is some sort of weakness, like built into that system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
so.
It's the same. It's along the same lines as the head cannon that I invented, fucking I don't know, 30 years ago for Highlander, which was how the fuck are they using these goddamn swords for hundreds of fucking years when in reality, like one fight of that magnitude and that fucking sword would be destroyed. Well, I created the head cannon of the immortals quickening goes through their body, down through their arms, into their hands, into the blade. Thus, you know how you see the sparks and shit sometimes? That's the quickening. And it strengthens their bladye.
Okay, I don't know. I don't necessarily know that we needed that head cannon for Highlander, but okay.
Oh, we know, because come on. I mean, we needed that.
If you say so. I just don't think we did. I mean, Jeremy quit again. That's twice in this episode. He was just like, screw it. And I wasn't even mean to him this time. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't think that, like, the idea that the immortals are using the same swords for centuries just doesn't, like, I don't think it needs an explanation.
Well, that's because you're stupid. Let's
I mean, that might be true, but I still don't I still don't think that.
Well, think about, like, you couldn't use the same stick that many times in a row. Like, it would
okay, well, dude, like, a stick is a lot fucking different than like a fucking steel.
Like, in all seriousness, like, you don't know how highly damaged a sword becomes just with a little bit of fucking around.
Well, I mean, I'm sure, like, there would have to be frequent, like, repairs over the years.
Well, you can't repair.
Well,
okay,
but
let's just get back onto Buffy, because I feel like I'm talking to my fucking dog.
Oh my god.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I just don't think it's that big of a deal to have to create a headcanon for that. That's all.
Well, you're the only one.
I don't think I'm the only one.
Okay, there can be only one.
There can be only one. Remember that rule?
Remember that rule?
Remember that.
All right, let's get back.
Okay. Yeah, how about if you I did the cold open, so how about if you do your job now?
Okay, maybe I'll just fuck right off. How about that? We're a little different today, folks, as you can tell. We've both been using narcotics, if I'm being totally honest. And so anyway, the next day, Willow is on fire. And she comes running into the hospital room fully ablaze. Like, she has just taken part in self-immolation because she's protesting the way the Chinese are treating the Tibetans. She wants, she's just fucking fed up. And
in fact, she's yelling "Free Tibet" as she runs around Joyce's hospital room.
She runs around a couple of times, fully immolated, and then she just runs screaming "Free Tibet," and she just throws herself out the window without realizing she's on the first floor. So she only falls like 2.5 feet. She was hoping, okay, I'll take this big fall. That'll finish me off, put me out of my misery.
Nope.
She just broke a rib, but she's still on fire.
Right.
So
yep. She's way too far past stop, drop, and roll.
Oh yeah, at this point she looks like Freddy Krueger's ball sack. So it's pretty much over.
Yeah.
But, so R.I.P. Willow. It
was nice knowing you, Red.
Nice knowing you, little Red. No, she comes in, and this scene actually does annoy me a little bit, if I'm honest. If she comes into to Joyce's hospital room, and she's got a nice, like, good sized gift bag, and she's like, "Oh, I brought you guys gifts. I'm like Santa Claus, except small, thin,
female and Jewish,
because
something like that.
and also Jewish." And so we're like, okay. And so she's like, "I got a little something in here for everybody." And I'm thinking, well, that's sweet. This is Willow for you, just being sweet Willow. Well, Willow begins to give out some of the stupidest, worst fucking gifts that I have ever fucking seen in my life.
Okay, so I both agree and disagree with you. The first gift she gives, yes, is just just the most asinine thing she could possibly give. And what is it, Jeremy? Tell us the first gift that she gives and who she gives it to.
She gives Joyce, the brain cancer patient, a beer helmet.
Yes. And they don't even, this is the worst part of that, is they don't even try to play it off like oh, I was at some place with a limited number of items to pick from or something. She literally says, when I was in the store, this seemed like the most important idea. What?
Yeah.
What?
Like, maybe if Joyce had been previously shown as an alcoholic, or Joyce was actually Jim, who was like the father from King of the Hill and drank a lot, okay, but it's Joyce fucking Summers.
Right. And like I said, they don't even try to play it off like, oh, I was at the local, quick stop.
Yeah, I was at the gas station, so my options were limited.
Right. So,
because we all know the real gift should have been an obscene amount of lube.
Right.
Because she's going to have to go back to work after this to pay off these fucking hospital bills.
Mm-hmm. And listen, 100%. Here's the thing, though. She's going to be able to charge a little more because there's definitely going to be some sick fuck out there that wants to nail her head hole.
Wow, I wasn't even. That's not where I thought you were going with that. I thought you were going to say, because there's going to be some sicko out there that wants to sleep with a cancer patient or whatever. But you said fuck her head hole. Wow. Okay. You have taught me today on my sickness, and I applaud you, sir.
Thank you. Could I please get the effects?
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll go ahead and do that for
you. Thank you.
Okay. So the next gift she gives is for Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a book that says spells on it.
Right.
And Buffy's like, really? Have we ever even discussed if I want you teaching my sister magic? No, we've never even discussed that. Number 2, why would you give a 14-year... Even Buffy says it. She's like, oh, you're going to give my sister, who breaks things just by looking at them, a book that'll teach her how to break things just by looking at them.
Right.
But... Well, let me finish.
Okay.
Then Willow goes on to say, well, there's not actually any spells in it. It's just kind of like a history of magic and, stuff like that. And I'm like, then why does it say spells on the front of the fucking book?
Now, see, I'm willing to give leeway for that because I've seen stuff like that before hanging around Barnes and Noble and whatnot. But that's
like if you bought a porno mag that was called Jugs, and then you get home and you open it up, and it's a bunch of balls.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, dude. But
I'm just saying, it's so dumb.
But I could definitely see a book like called spells, but then it's just like a history of magic and
I
things
would
like
return
that.
it and say, "Yo, this said spells, and I got home and there's no spells in it. That's
Well,
false advertising, and I'm going to write a stern letter to your publisher."
well, I think you're being a little nitpicky on this particular item,
Perhaps.
in my opinion.
Well, it
And
does.
and
It does work in the fact that Dawn fucks off and shuts the fuck up the rest of the scene. So
well, but I also think it was a decent, unlike the beer helmet for Joyce. I think it was a decent gift for Dawn.
well, now let's get back into stupidity though, because we're not done yet. She then hands Buffy a giant history textbook from school, because when you're spending time at the hospital with your dying mother that has brain AIDS, all you want to do is get back into some schoolwork. And then she's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding, Buff. I got you another present too." And hands her, that's right, a yo-yo.
Right.
Because as we have seen multiple
And
times,
do we even know? And do we even know? Is it a Duncan yo-yo? A good one? Probably
does it
not.
matter?
Well, yeah. If
I
I
mean,
get a yo-yo, I want it to be a fucking Duncan yo-yo.
in this show, have we ever seen Buffy, anyone, using a yo-yo?
That's not my point right now. My point is, if I get a yo-yo, it better be a Duncan yo-yo.
No one cares what the fuck you want, James. No,
I know it's becoming a real problem in my life.
like a yo-yo, like for the whatever.
I don't know. I don't know.
I was like,
I agree. This is also a dumb game.
Willow was like the sweetest, most thoughtful, all those things. And then I'm like, actually, I kind of think that Willow's mentally disturbed, like, because she's really proud of herself. Like when she came in with the bag, she's all like, "Care package for the Summers girls," and I'm like, "Oh, how sweet!" There's probably like snacks in there and like some cool little presents. And wow, was I let down? That's all I can say. I don't want Jewish Santa Claus coming to my house. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, like I said, I agree. The gifts for Joyce and Buffy were just completely like stupid, and the only one she got even close to right was the book for Dawn.
Yeah.
So
then Joyce has this insane fucking out of nowhere fucking outburst where she goes, "Well, I'd rip it in half and put it in bed with me." And I was like, like, I know she's having brain tumor outbursts, but I was like, who wrote that line and what kind of outfit did they have? And they all look at her like, "Bitch, what?" And she's like, "Huh? What's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, nothing. You're just talking nuts, fucking crazy shit again." And so they're like, "Yeah, why don't we go ahead and fuck off and let her rest?" I think she needs it. And as they're heading out, we see it looks like a small family leaving with their special uncle, if you know what I'm saying. And he's talking to himself and eating crayons and shit like that. He looks like he just got left the puzzle factory. And they say to him, or no, he's talking to himself and he's crazier than James. And he he sees them, Buffy and the girls walk by, and he says to Dawn, he's like, you're not, there's nothing inside you. You're not real. There's no data. And of course, Dawn has a total freak out instead of just being like, "Oh, it's Special Dan again." So she has a freak out, and Buffy has to calm her down and be like, "Dude, he's a little touched, okay? let's not take everything he says literally, okay? I know you're only fucking 14. Anyway, then we cut to a weird scene, and it took me a minute to figure out who this was, where the fuck they were, like what was happening. But Willow and Tara are, I guess they're camping on this roof, and I'm assuming the roof is the magic box.
No, it's the top of one of the buildings of UC Sunnydale. Presumably their dorm building.
Well, they have like a mattress up there and fucking blankets and pillows and shit, and they're watching the night sky, and they're having this weird conversation about constellations, and I don't know, it just seemed like a big fat waste of time to me, but it was all to set up the fact that at one point Willow sees, like, at first it looks like a shooting star, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, but it's quickly you realize it's, oh no, that's a goddamn meteor. And when it hits, everything in Sunnydale ceases to be.
Yep, Sunnydale's gone.
Like, it's literally wiped off the fucking map, and we don't even get credit. It's the fucking film melts itself upwards, and
yeah,
that is it.
Yeah, it's like something out of The Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah, we're done. So, listen, James, I mean, it's been great, but clearly, there's nothing more we can say. No. So they big meteor.
Next week, join us for season 2 of Angel.
Yeah. No. It wiped out LA too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Wiped out LA.
Well, fuck it all then. We're done. Bye.
Did not touch C. Cooper. So, and actually, by the way, I was going to say, I was like, I thought this was pretty good CGI for 2000 on a TV show.
Oh. Yeah, the meteor streak across the sky. Yeah,
well, yeah, because we see it streak, but then we see, like, way off in the horizon where it hits, and it lights up right there and then goes back down. I was like, that's pretty damn good for
It was. I actually, unlike you, I liked this whole scene. Like, I thought it was cute.
I know.
Seeing Willow and
we all know you're a raging homosexual. We know.
Seeing Willow and Tara camped out up there, watching the stars and talking about constellations. So,
do you think they would have stayed out there all night and slept if they hadn't seen the meteor?
Probably.
That's pretty stupid.
I would. Why? You're not a camper, are you? No.
No, I am not married to any family members. I don't go. So, so now is this the same? I'm going to assume, like, this is like, say, an hour later, right?
I would say a few hours later.
Okay.
Wait,
so a few hours.
Wait, what you mean? Okay, what are you talking about specifically? Dawn and Tara on top of the roof is what? Like an hour later from the hospital scene?
Well, first of all, Dawn's not with Tara.
Or, I'm sorry, Tara and Willow.
No, I'm saying because they see it streak and then they're out, like, looking for it.
Oh, maybe not an hour, but I would say,
so
half an hour or so to.
They made a phone call, and literally everyone came, except Buffy. They're not bothering Buffy with this.
Right.
They're out walking through the woods. Including Riley. Who, by the way, you failed to mention in the cold open, was supposed to be with them on the patrol, but straight up fucking ghosted them. Didn't show up. And they all mentioned it. Well, now he's with them. And he's like, oh, I'm glad you called me in on this one. I'm like, and fucking Xander goes, yeah, thanks for answering. And we come to find out Riley has a cell phone. So there has been a way to get a hold of him. So there's definitely no excuse now for the fact that he's always MIA. So they're all traipsing through the woods, and there it is. And they go up to it. It looks like Superman's pod that came in fucking Smallville, and they're like, "Oh, look, it's hollow. There must have been something in there." And they're like, "Yes, it must have been a demon, an evil demon here to kill it." No, they're all like, "Oh, it must be an alien or whatever." And so they kind of start following. They're like, "Let's spread out and see if we can figure out, which way it went." And oh shit, who was it? I think was it Xander that immediately found the body.
Well, for one, you didn't talk about the fact that something killed the guard.
I skipped it because no one cares. They've watched the episode. They know the little things.
I'm not sure why they're listening to us then.
Because of our charm and good looks. Okay. No, I did forget that the alien had come out of the thing and killed some shit, or killed the mentally ill man from earlier in the hospital, or so we think that he dropped down out of the tree and was like, bark, bark, bark.
Right.
We assume he did something to him. Well, now is it Xander though that finds the body?
I believe it is. Yes.
Immediately finds the body. And they're like, "Oh, snap." And they all come over there. And, of course, Willow brings up, "I know him. He was at the hospital saying weird, crazy person things." And they're like, "Okay, thanks, Willow. That helps us figure out what's wrong with him." Riley checks him, and he no pulse. Instead of saying he's dead, he says, "There's no pulse. However, there may still be hope." So, and then he gets like a pen or something out of his pocket and like fishes it into the dude's mouth and pulls out this huge like used condom looking glob of shit. And everybody's like, "Oh God, oh, it's whole smells so bad." And I was like, that little bitty amount of really, like, okay, but they're all ready to like upchuck their lunch. So, shit. I've lost my place. Anyway, I'll just finish by memory. So they're like, "Okay, let's go. Should we go further into the woods and follow its trail?" And then they're all like, "Let's just do research." And even Giles was like, agreed. Riley decides he's gonna stay though because he's a bad motherfucker. He's gonna stay with the alien, or stay with the dead body. And he's like, "Oh, but if anything jumps out at me, I'll call you guys immediately." And they're like, "Okay, later, fuckhead." And they all leave. And as soon as they're out of earshot, when he pulls out his dope year 2000 flip phone, and he calls, we don't know, he calls a number, and he's like, "I need to talk to the man at the desk." And then I guess they ask him, like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he's like, "Riley Finn. And you have an Agent Graham. Just let him know who blah, 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 blah." And we're like, "Oh, okay. So he's twilighting with the military again, huh?" I fucking see how it is. So, since I have fucked this up royally with how I jumped forward, I'm not really sure how I'm going to fix this.
Would you like me to fix it for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, there was a brief scene before we come to the gang, the scene that Jeremy just went over, where we're at the hospital, and we see that the creature that we had previously seen fall onto and as we now know, kill the mentally ill patient in the woods, has now made it to the hospital and is crawling along the ceiling. And we see Buffy and Mama Summers talking to Dr. Kegel about
He's always
letting
clenching his midsection together. Yeah. We don't know
why. Talking about letting Joyce go home until her operation, which it's 2 fucking days. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to say spoiler, but it's not. He fucking agrees to let them take Joyce home for 2 days before her fucking operation.
Yeah.
Like, that's completely asinine. Any doctor or hospital worth their salt would have been like, no, it's 2 days. You can fucking tough it out here at the hospital. It's not worth the hassle of sending you home.
Yeah.
Like
it'd take us like 6 hours to do the fucking paperwork.
Right.
And got to do all these meds and stuff, and
and ultimately that's what we see. Ultimately we see them checking out with Joyce, and Buffy's got like 2 handfuls of like medications for Joyce to be taking, and the doctor's like, okay, we've gone over everything, and you're not going to get much sleep trying to take care of your mom for the next 2 days, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, this is completely asinine. No hospital or doctor would ever go for this.
Yeah.
Like, especially 2 days before fucking surgery.
2 days before
brain surgery, nonetheless.
Yeah.
So we see that one of the mental patients in the loony bin ward at Sunnydale Memorial is attacked by this demon thing. We cut back to the Summers home, and Mama Summers is acting fucking off her rocker, and she's just saying random shit, and she calls Dawn a thing, and Dawn runs and locks herself in a room like she's a fucking 14-year-old little girl, fucking crybaby.
Thank you.
And Buffy goes in and comforts her, and she's like, just ignore what Mom's saying. She's fucking...
Buffy's like, quit being a little bitch.
Right, Buffy's like, quit being a little bitch, you little bitch. Like, toughen up, Dawn.
Then she fucking punched her in the stomach.
Yeah. She was like, listen.
Uncalled for.
Like, right. She's like, here. She's like, you wanna toughen up? You wanna make those emotions hard? You gotta make your body hard too. And then she just starts gut punching her.
She's like, you wanna cry? Let me give you something to cry about.
Right.
And it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah. But no, she comforts Dawn, and she's like, just Mom's gonna say some crazy shit. Just ignore her. And then she explains to her that when people are, they think they're the only nothing but them is real.
Are you saying retarded?
No, crazy.
Okay.
I would never say the R word. That's not appropriate.
Really?
It's not appropriate. So then we cut back to the magic box, and the gang is researching, and they discover that this thing that fell from the sky is they end up calling it a queller demon. And apparently throughout history, it has periodically been called forth to rid the world of plagues of crazy people. And we cut back to Casa de Summers, and Dawn and Buffy put Joyce out of her misery because she's just fucking crazy as shit now. So they just
they've been there with baseball bats, like beating her to death.
Dawn pins Joyce's Dawn straddles
now, bitch.
Dawn straddles Joyce and pins her arms down to her side, and then Buffy slowly puts a pillow over her face, and she's just like, "Shh, it's okay, mommy. It's okay. It's all gonna be over soon. Shh.
And Dawn's
just
like,
let it happen."
Dawn's like, "Who's a thing now, bitch?"
No, they're putting her to bed, and we cut to Dawn listening from her room and covering her ears with her pillow as Joyce is just ranting, and she
says one hilarious at the very because it's just one crazy line after another. But the first one she says, for some reason it fucking hit my funny bone. But she says, "Well, I'm very upset because I was unaware that tennis would be being played here."
Yes.
I was like, what?
Yeah. And then after that, like, she starts ranting about, like, why are you staring at me like that? I don't like it. Stop looking at me like that. And we come to see that she is actually talking to the Queller demon, which is now at the Summers home and is staring down at Joyce from her bedroom ceiling. Again, Dawn is covering her ears with her pillow, trying to ignore her mom's crazy talk, and we see that Buffy's downstairs washing dishes, and she turns on the most annoying song I've ever heard in my fucking life, and washes the dishes and begins to cry.
She's like, it's like Cuban Pete, the song she turns on.
No, Cuban Pete is tolerable. The song she's listening to is not.
Okay.
We cut back to Joyce's room, and what's going on there, Jeremy? What is happening in that whore's room?
Well, the first thing all we can hear is, "They call me Cuban Pete. I'm the king of the
rumba beats. I go chick chicka bone, chick chicka bone, chick chicka bone."
So anyway, yeah, there's a fire in Joyce's room, and
in Joyce's pants. Oh,
she's not even, since she's all loop-de-loop, she doesn't even care. She's actually roasting a marshmallow on some of it. And
yeah, she's roasting marshmallows on herself.
Huh? And she's singing. She's like, burning the disco inferno. It's creepy as shit. No, it drops from the ceiling onto Joyce.
And then it ejaculates from its mouth onto her fucking face.
That's exactly what it looked like. Even when she like grabbed it to pull it off of her, it looked like jizz, like a ton of jizz. And she's like, "Oh my God, this hasn't happened to me in like a week." And
I'm gonna get pink eye again.
And by the way,
I don't know if that's true.
I looked and looked and looked online for
to see if it's true that you get pink eye from getting cum in your eye.
I looked and looked and looked for information regarding who played this Queller demon, because I'm convinced in my own mind that they hired one of those people who's been like cut in half, like from the they don't have anything from the waist down, to play this Queller demon. Who else could have done it?
A regular little person?
No, because I thoroughly examined that creature, and unless it was like because the arms were like normal arms ish, like not, little person arms, and no, they hired and they abused a handicapped person.
You keep going. I'm gonna do a little research on this.
Okay. So after she pulls all the jizz off of her face, Dawn comes running in and she's like, "Oh my God, Mom, again?" And
nope, it was an actual little person. Her name was Debbie Lee Carrington, and sadly, she passed away in March of 2018.
because they abused her on the set.
I don't think that's why she passed away.
Listen,
But.
it took 18 years for what they did to her to come to light, but it finally did her in. So damn it, I thought for sure they hired somebody that was cut in half. Those people need to work too. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I just like your mind sometimes just fucking amazes me, man. Like the way everyone else would like watch this episode and be like, "Oh, they hired a little person to be in that costume," and you're just like, "They hired someone who was fucking cut in half."
You got to remember, James.
They hired a fucking mutilated person to do this shit.
I did a massive amount of drugs in my younger days, okay? So, and I mean a metric fuck ton. So,
oh man.
Okay. So Dawn comes running in and she's like, and she like starts screaming when she sees this fucking thing, which I would too, because it's extremely creepy.
Hold on. I'm gonna give you a little bit of kudos here on this one, because Debbie Lee Carrington was the main person in the creature costume.
Okay, like the close-ups and shit like that.
And she was a little person.
Okay.
The stunt creature was portrayed by stunt woman Barbara C. Adside, who, while not a person who was cut in half,
damn it,
was born with legs that did not grow past her knee.
Oh, so she had those little like chicken wing legs.
Her legs were only developed to the knee. So
they looked like KFC chicken wings.
There's no pictures of her or her legs, but I can tell you.
Don't you pretend that you haven't seen some shit online, just like I have, you motherfucker. It looks like two long index fingers on the end.
Listen, all I know is that it says she was born with legs ending at the knee. That's all I know, okay?
And from the hip to that quote unquote knee, it's a fucking KFC chicken wing, and you know it.
So I'll give you half credit for your cut in half hypothesis.
I'll take it all day. So yeah, Dawn screams out when she sees this freakish little bastard, and it's all, attacking her mom. And she actually, I was kind of proud of her. She grabs I think it was like a pedestal fan or something like that, and goes running over and just fucking like jousts this fucking thing right off her mom. She just yeets it off the side of the bed. She's like, "Bitch, ask me again. What the fuck is my name?" And her mom's like, "Dawn." So then it like it crawls out of the room real creepily, and Dawn slams the door shut, and she like screams bloody murder for Buffy. Buffy finally hears it through the horrible generic Cuban Pete music and comes running up. They couldn't get the rights to Cuban Pete, so they had to use something generic. Comes running up, and she's like, "What?" But she literally just kind of opens the door and sticks her head in. She's like, "What?" And and Dawn's like, "Demon." And Buffy's like, "Ugh, I was trying to do the dishes and cry in peace." So,
thanks for ruining that for me, you bitches.
Yeah, you fucking hooers. So she goes running downstairs, like after it, trying to find it. And her basement door opens and Spike comes out. And she's like, huh? And he's like, "Oh, hey, Buffy."
And he's like, she's like completely baffled by the fact that he's coming out of her basement, and he looks at her and he's like, "Did you hear a noise?"
Yeah. He's like, "Did you hear a noise?" And she just like, she goes, were you just in my basement? And he's like, "Well, yeah." He's like, "You know, you got a lot of junk down there, and you know, I need junk for I need stuff." And
he's like, "I can't really work the counter at the burger barn."
yeah, and she's like, "What the?" And he's putting something in his pocket, and she goes, "Are those pictures of me?" And then then the demon attacks, and it's on her, and it's like,
And like, really, this demon's mouth is like, it's fucked up. Like
it's a vagina, but
with teeth.
It's got piranha teeth all the way around it.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
it's creepy as shit. And she's like holding it back, and it's like, and then Spike just watches. He doesn't even help. He actually takes a few photos with a disposable like Kodak camera.
Right. He's like, click, click.
No, it's not a Polaroid. It's a disposable.
Oh. I like mine better.
Yeah, and he's like shaking it.
He's
waiting for it to develop, and he's like, I could get better. And they're all upskirt shots too, by the way, because it's Spike. It's Spike.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Anyway,
for anyone that might not know what a Polaroid is, go look it up.
If you don't know what a Polaroid is, fuck you and fuck your family and everything about you. Okay, I hate you. Yeah. So and then he throws her a knife that she had grabbed earlier out of the kitchen block, and she catches it and just starts stabbing the shit out of this thing. She just like it's on top of her, and it's an odd angle but she is stabbing the fuck out of this thing, and it's like into it. It's like and she's like. And then it does that huge jizz thing all over her face. And she's like, "Oh, it's been like 24 hours. What the hell?" And no, she kills it. It dies.
Yes.
So Spike walks over and sticks his hand out to help her up. He feels her up too, by the way, when she gets up. It's so weird. He's so weird. Literally just then, the doors burst open, and Riley and his gang of nerds come in to save the day. A day late and a dollar short.
Right.
And Spike's like, "Yep, you missed quite a show, fucko." And
something we should mention, because neither one of us did, but there was a scene at the hospital where Riley.
That was your scene, fuckhead.
Yeah, but you could have interjected and been like, "Oh, by the way, you forgot this."
You forgot an entire scene.
There was a scene at the hospital where Riley and Graham and like this new military unit discover that like they're looking for the Queller demon. It's not in the hospital, and they discover that Joyce was released earlier that day, and somehow Riley manages to make the Evel Knievel style leap over 25 school buses in a row.
Yeah.
That the Queller demon must have hitched a ride on the Summers car and is at Buffy's house, and that's why he shows up there right now.
Because the Queller demon understands automobiles and what they are, it made sure to get underneath Buffy and Mama Summers' Jeep. What is it? A Jeep fucking Cherokee or some shit?
Probably a Wagoneer.
And it gets underneath it and hitches a ride. That's how it got to their house.
Right. Yep.
Or it took an Uber. I don't know.
Probably an Uber.
What do you think its rating on Uber is?
as its passenger rating.
Well, yeah, it can't drive. It doesn't have any fucking
Well,
legs.
right. Yeah. Okay. Probably a 1.
You think?
Probably a 1.
I mean,
it's gonna.
I feel like it's
It's
probably a good tipper.
No, it's gonna depend on how often it like jizz vomits in the back seat. Because listen. I've been there. You throw up in one Uber, and suddenly your Uber rating is like takes a drastic
Let
hit.
alone if you fucking brick all over the back of the motherfucker's seat.
Right.
Then yeah, your shit's gonna go down.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So I would say I would need more information like that. Like how often has it jizz vomited in the back seat of an Uber?
Yeah.
Before I could give an ad.
How many fucking ropes is it shot in the back of its driver's head?
Right. And is the driver into that kind of thing?
Indeed. Indeed.
So.
Indeed. So we cut back to the reality. Oh, sorry. We're back to the hospital, and intern Ben is coming out of the hospital, and apparently after a long shift, and gets into his car. Now, before, when he would get off we've seen when he would, get out, his shift would end, he would go into the locker room and change. But on this day, he's just leaving in full scrubs. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to go as a dirty whore that I am. So he he gets into his car, and go ahead. I know you want to say something.
he leaves like the dirty whore he is, and then in my head, I'm thinking Ben. I picture Ben like going into like the locker room to change, and as he's taking his dirty scrub shirt off, he's like, "No, forget it. I'm a dirty boy, and that's how I'm leaving."
And he walks past the glory hole that he normally stops at to,
right,
to do what he does,
to get his dick sucked by some unknown person on the other side. That's how a glory hole works.
No, he's doing the sucking.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
It's a dirty.
Okay.
Remember?
Okay.
So who's in the back seat but Dreg?
Mm-hmm.
Glory's worshipful demon lapdog, and he's berating him, and then Ben's like, "Get the fuck out of my car," and he calls him sir, and it's like, well, what's going on here? And he gets out, and he leans down, and he's like, how did he say that? Like,
he's basically like, just one question, why summon the queller?
Why summon the queller? And Ben says, because I'm cleaning up Glory's mess like I have done my entire life. And you're like, whoa. And he drives away. But he runs over Dreg's foot, so that's Ben. Then we go to Joyce in her hospital bed, who's getting ready for surgery. They're getting ready to take her in any moment. They've already inserted the catheter and the butt plug prior to taking, because you get one of those before you go in for surgery. See,
I don't think that's accurate.
No,
I don't think that's accurate. No.
Okay. That's what I've been told. And Joyce is like,
we're gonna give you a local anesthetic for the brain surgery, but you will feel a pinch as we insert the butt plug
as we enter you. Oh man. Oh buddy. Woo. You feel a little pinch because
You'll feel a little pinch as we insert the butt plug. Anally, of course, in case you were unclear.
We only have the 8-inch with the 4-inch diameter.
This unfortunately, Miss Summers, we ran out of the standard operational butt plugs, and we will be using this dragon dildo.
Nice callback.
You're welcome. I knew you'd appreciate that.
Shit. I thought you were gonna say we're gonna have to use the one that we use on the mental patients.
No.
We're gonna have to use the naughty one.
Yeah. Nope.
Oh shit.
Nope. I decided to straight call back to your dragon dildo conversation from a couple episodes ago.
Oh my god, dude. I think I had a small aneurysm burst during that. Sorry. So wow. Whew, so Mom says to Buffy, she's like, so tell me if I'm crazy, but
and Buffy immediately is like, yeah.
Well, she's like, Dawn isn't mine, is she? And Buffy's like, okay, bitch, you're crazy. You need to go in for your... No, but she admits it. And she's like, yeah, no, she's not. But... And then Mom's like, well, but I just know that she's important and that she's precious and that she's important to the world and we need to protect her. Right? And Buffy's like, yeah. And she's like, well, then make me a promise. If anything happens to me, no matter what, you'll protect her and blah, blah, blah. And Buffy's like, I promise. And I'm just like, what? Why did she spill the beans? Why doesn't she be like, Mom, you're having another tumor tard fit. I'm gonna need you to settle the fuck down. You'll feel better when they cut out the AIDS out of your brain. And
It's out of your brain.
And but no, she just even though she and Giles clearly made a pact to tell no one else except them two, she's like, okay, yeah, Mom, yeah, yeah, that's yeah. Anything else you want to know? You want to know who shot Kennedy? I'll tell you that too. I don't want to give a fuck.
Well, I think so. I'm going to be serious for a minute here.
I'm being for real.
I think some of it is just the idea that she didn't want her mom to think that she was like fucking nuts. Okay. And well, she's not though.
Oh, I mean because of the tumor.
Right. And I think part of it too, it was probably to some extent the idea of I should tell her the truth just in case something goes wrong and she doesn't make it out of this. She deserves to know the truth.
See, okay. All right, let's put aside possible reasons for spilling the beans. Let's put that aside. And let's just go with, let's figure it from this angle. This would be the perfect time. I'm not sure how to put what I want to say into words, if I'm being honest.
Well, then don't.
Okay, let's just move on.
No, I mean, I think I understand what you're trying to say. Like, right now would be the opportune time for Buffy to deny.
Which is right? What she should do. Because all she's doing is putting her mother at greater risk. That's all that this is going to accomplish. Because, well, I wanted her to know just in case something happened. Why? If something happened and she fucking died, what the fuck would it matter? She'd be dead. So either having the knowledge or not having the knowledge wouldn't make any fucking difference.
But when people do things like that, it's more for their peace of mind. Like, it would be more so have been for Buffy's peace of mind. Like, well, at least Mom died knowing the truth about Dawn.
But also,
And I didn't keep that from her.
okay, how does Buffy know that this isn't just the tumor talking? You know what I mean? Like, she should have at least been like, "Yo, Mom, how about shut the fuck up and do your shit real quick?" No, you know what I'm saying? Like, and been like, "Here, I'm not going to tell her the truth unless she brings this up after they get the AIDS out of her brain." And also, where did Joyce get this from? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, obviously it was when she called Dawn a thing. Like, she had a moment, the tumor caused her to have that moment of clarity where she was like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's not like all the other mental patients have that Dawn's come across. They've been like, you don't belong here. There's nothing there. Where's the data?" So Joyce had that moment of clarity because of the tumor, which is obviously when she called Dawn a thing.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't like it. We'll just leave it at that. So she gets wheeled into surgery, and all the Scoobs are gathered up watching her as they take her into the morgue. I mean, surgery. And boom, credits episode.
That is the episode. Boom. Jeremy, would you like to play everyone's favorite game show, Body Count?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Wow. 3.
Wow. No. 9.
Oh shit.
We've got the 2 vampires staked by Willow, 6
Shit.
mental patients killed by the Queller Demon, and the Queller Demon itself as killed by Buffy. Our music this week, New Age World with Tahitian Swing, and as always, Thomas Wanker with our original score. Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
Would you please tell me?
Would you please tell me if you like my pee-pee?
Do you like my pee-pee?
I like to wear wooden shoes,
Would you tell me and our vast audience how many splooge vomiting demons do you give this episode?
I'm not going to give it a 1. But it's not getting above a 2. It's a 2. And it would be a 1. Okay. Brief explanation here. Everybody knows my criteria for giving something a 5. My criteria for giving something a 1 is when I consider it a completely useless throwaway episode that doesn't need to exist. This is not that, because we do have the big kind of shocking partial reveal of Ben having some kind of connection to Glory.
Right.
So that's pretty momentous in the overall scheme of the episode. So it'll get a 2. But if it weren't for that one fucking scene, this would be a fucking 1, because I didn't give, at no time did I care about this demon. And at no time did I care about the A plot or the B plot, frankly. The A plot being, of course, Joyce. I've never cared about her as a character. That's just like not me being funny. That's just, never cared about her.
Right.
The writers and the showrunner, Joss Whedon, have never made me care about her at all. So, other than like just basic human empathy, as far as, oh, it's a human that has cancer, that's tough and it's sad. I don't care. You know what I mean? So
Right.
The A plot, don't care. The B plot, super don't care, because I thought that seemed like some shit that they were just making up as the goddamn episode went along. That's the way it came across to me. Like, it was just dumb. And they even mentioned it in the episode. They're like, well, the demons always come from below. Why is this one coming from fucking space? But no one ever answers that question other than, well, reasons. And I don't know. It's a hot fucking mess. Nothing in it matters, and I don't care. It has the one redeeming scene. Well, the one important scene, and the rest of it is just basically diarrhea that you can't get off the side of the bowl when you flush the first time, and you have to flush a couple more. So yeah, I have no use for it. James, tell me and our illustrious audience, how many shots of jizz to the eyeball do you give this episode? And tell us why it's so terrible.
Well, first, let me start by saying, originally, I thought this episode was a 2. Okay. And then as we were revisiting it, I changed my mind.
It's a 5.
And this episode is a 6. No. And this episode is now a 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's just not a good episode. It's not a good episode.
No.
It's just not. I think when I watched it, it wasn't not enjoyable, but it just wasn't important. It wasn't like, and I think there needs to be a distinction made. Like, sometimes it's okay for an episode. It's okay for an episode.
It's okay for an episode to touch me in the pee.
It's okay for an episode to touch me in my no-no square.
Throw me on the door where the episode touch you.
Let me throw you on the door where the episode touch me in my no-no places. No, let me make this distinction that it's okay for an episode to not be important, but then that episode also has to be good.
It better be fucking good. Yeah.
Like, a filler episode is fine. I'm 100% in favor of filler episodes, but it needs to be good.
It needs to be not just a waste of screen time just because they're contractually obligated to have 22 fucking episodes, you know?
Right. And as we were revisiting it now, I realized that this episode, in addition to being a filler episode, is also not good. So it brings it. Initially, I was going to go 2, but with taking those things into consideration, I'm revamping that to a 1, which is a shame because now we've had back-to-back filler episodes that were also not good.
Yes, but at least this one had the one scene that was actually important.
But so did the last episode. Remember, we had the one scene where we found out that Glory is, at the very least, something that's older than both written and spoken language.
Well, and we found out that her last name is Hole.
Sure. So yeah, we've now had 2 filler episodes in a row that both aren't good. And they've only given us one scene with a piece of information that kind of sort of moves our main story for the season along.
Doesn't really move it, but gives us some context into it. You know,
it's almost like the writers themselves were like, these episodes are filler episodes, but we need to include something, a little something, that's going to tie it to the overall season arc. And that's why we get these little nuggets of Glory's older than written and spoken language. Oh, Ben is somehow connected to Glory.
Yeah, and the way it ends up making the viewer feel is like it's almost like a hand job where you don't get to complete.
Yeah, it's like a half a hand job.
Yeah, it's like you're just about to you are just about to top the canyons, and and it's ruined.
Right.
So you kill yourself.
It's like when you go to the VIP at the strip club, and the stripper's like, I can give you a hand job for a little extra money, but you got to let me know before you come. And then you actually let her know before you come, and she stops giving you a hand job.
Right. And she smells like hot farts.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Just public service announcement. I've literally been to two strip clubs in my life. Both times it was the most awkward thing I've ever experienced, and I hated every minute of it. It was
public service announcement. I have never been to a strip club, and I will never go to a strip club.
Yeah, one was for my friend Joe's birthday. He wanted to go, so we went, and like I was there like half an hour before I was like, I can't do this. This is
now when you say you lasted half an hour, does that mean we all know it really means?
No, it means I was in the establishment for half an hour before I was like, I am so uncomfortable here, I have to go. And then the other time was for a friend's bachelor party, which I also ended up leaving early because I was so uncomfortable. I just couldn't stay.
I also ended up leaving early for that one because I was completely out of money. No. Neither time did I waste money in the establishments either, because never been one, never had the even slightest interest in doing so.
Yeah, like I said, one was for a buddy's bachelor party and the other one was for a buddy's birthday. Otherwise, it's not. Yeah, I don't know that this is necessarily any better, but I would rather go to a bar and waste my money getting drunk.
Well, yeah.
So,
I mean, I would rather just get herpes from a public toilet than to have to pay to get it. So here's I got a little fun fact about this episode.
Sure.
The mental patient that's hassling Dawn at the beginning of the episode and it gets killed by the Queller demon.
Yeah, he's the security guard from a few episodes back.
Go fuck yourself.
I'm sorry.
Piece of shit. So yeah.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, so this is a 1. It's just, man, and it's sad because next week we're about to have another 1 episode. So that's 3 1s in a row.
Okay. You give out 5s and 1s way more willy-nilly than I do. Like way more willy-nilly than I do.
No, I don't. No, I don't think.
Oh yes.
I don't think. No, I've been over the years. I've been pretty lenient with my 1s. This is season 5 is probably the most 1s I've given out.
Season 5?
Yeah, this season.
Season 5?
Shut up. This is probably the most 1s I've given out.
I don't know. We gave out quite a bit in season 4.
No, that's the thing, and that's what I was trying to say the other day. Season 4, we did not. We gave more positive reviews than we did negative.
There were a lot of 2s in there, I know, for a fact.
So it's just, because, like I said,
Season 1 of Angel got a lot of fucking 1s and 2s.
Because it was like I was saying the other day, like season 4 is universally panned as the worst season of Buffy, yet we're 9 episodes now, 9 or 10 episodes.
9.
We're 9 episodes now into season 5, and I've enjoyed this season way less in the first 9 episodes than I did season 4.
I feel that so far they're pretty fucking equal for me. That's just me.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm saying I happen to disagree.
Well, it's okay.
Like this season really sucks so far.
All right, James. Well, we know how you really feel. Oh, I'm sorry. That's you're done, right? That's
that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, thank Christ. So did you know that if you turn on your desktop computer and you open up Netscape Navigator and you go to http://
Hold on.
www.
Time out. Before you complete that. Before I open Netscape Navigator, can I open Winamp to play my music?
I still actually use Winamp, so fuck you.
Because it kicks the llama's ass.
It is still the best standalone audio playing piece of software on the planet.
And after I've opened Winamp to start playing the music that I've stolen from Napster,
right,
and LimeWire,
right,
can I open ICQ to chat with all my internet friends?
Yep, sure can.
Awesome.
You can also ignore me as I'm fucking with you in ICQ.
Yeah, I mean, I did.
Real life. So anyway, if you go to BuffyRevisited.com, you'll get a link to all of our horse shit and shenanigans, which would be our Facebook page, would be our email address, which is buffyrevisited@gmail.com. Also, a link to our YouTube page where you can watch this very podcast in real time right now.
Right now, you can watch this podcast that you're listening to right now.
And
that's fucking mind blowing.
Right now and right then.
Yeah.
At the same time. So, right. Yeah.
And maybe yesterday.
Possibly. So there's that.
There is that. There's also a link to our merch store that maybe does exist or doesn't.
Store, but there's probably not.
We really don't know.
We really don't care. So what's next week, James? What are we covering next week?
Another one episode. It's just another flaming pile of shit on a doorstep episode into the woods.
Okay, and which season is that?
That's season 5.
Which episode?
That would be the 10th episode of the season. I believe the 88th episode of the series overall.
Okay, well then, we have that cleared up. And I think that's all. Thank you for joining us this week, folks, even though it was a rotten episode. Hopefully you'll join us next week for that rotten episode also.
I'm interesting to see where we come out, you and I, on this one, because based on conversation last week and then earlier in this episode, I feel like you are going to have a different take on Into the Woods than I am.
Well, as far as where I'm coming out on this, I'm coming out of the closet, baby. It's raining, man.
Hallelujah, it's raining, man.
Hallelujah.
And I like it.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, we'll try our best to entertain you next week, even though as like this week, it was not easy. But until then, I will remain one of your hosts. I'm Jeremy.
I'm probably quitting after this episode. I'm James.
Ta-ta.